morning, Jeff. The girl that came right to Nova Scotia, she's blowing a gale, as we like to say, on the Atlantic coast, but that's not slowing actually by down whatsoever. Just like Donald J. Trump is not slowing down whatsoever in his efforts to secure the Western Hemisphere. A plan for Venezuela appears to be taking shape, and I hope that some of the snowflakes out there are like, oh my God, it's machine changing. Oh my God, it's just like Iraq. Venezuela is not like Iraq at all. First of all, the biggest mistake that the Americans made in Iraq is that they drove all the way to Baghdad and then left Saddam Hussein in power. In Venezuela, they deposed the dictator altogether right away. But in Iraq, they left Saddam Hussein in power and he continued to fire anti-aircraft munitions at coalition aircraft trying to control the fly zone throughout the rest of his tenure. He kicked out weapons inspectors and chief weapons inspector Louis Blixwitz before the UN and said that there were missing stockpiles of weapons, so on and so forth. Okay, so that was a huge mess because they left Saddam Hussein in power. And the other reason it was a huge mess is because they actually did a regime change, even though they left the dictator in power. They fired the entire public service because they were all members of the Ba'athist Party that had to swear a blood oath to Saddam Hussein. Now, a lot of them would have done that just to have a job, probably hated the regime. But the U.S. fired them all wholesale, and then everything fell apart. And you had sectarian groups going out and directing traffic because the traffic lights were out in a city of 5 million in Baghdad, so that erodes support for the Americans while garnering support for the sectarians. So, very different situation in Venezuela, where they've actually left the public service in place so they can keep the buses on time and they can keep the lights on. And they're actually going to do the hard and messy work of parsing out who are the enemies and who are the allies. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is trying to buy Greenland in order to secure the Northwest Passage because Russia and China are all over the place with their ships up there. And they've been using Venezuela to project influence into the Western Hemisphere. How do you think we ended up with leftist protesters with professionally made signs in Toronto saying, hands off Venezuela, less than 24 hours after the dictator was proposed? So I don't think that a lot of people are really appreciating the situation. And right now, it's hats off to Donald J. Trump for his efforts to secure the Western Hemisphere for free-minded peoples for generations to come. All right, that's it for me today, guys. Have yourselves a